after Bind, that's my favorite map. And I feel like teams are now discovering that it is actually a good map for them because there's so much that they can do. And lurking is just such an open spot for as well. But look at that, fast opening on B.
My in-game seems to be frozen a little bit.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, they're all planting on B. I'm gonna go play by play when I'm not a native speaker. It's gonna be a little bit tough.
Oh, yeah. You can take it. It's back. It's back. It's back. So that wall, really solid wall. It covers top, it covers bottom, allows them to get on the side, use the wall for extra cover as well. Alliance now in the post plant. You've got a 4v4. So Wave, they want to group up and get back in. Now, they don't have a lot to deny the positions of Alliance. So they first clear out with a nade towards back yellow to secure that control, open an angle to fight on, and Muri on the raise, dominating on those duels with a ghost headshot delivered again, finishes with a body, and it's now a 1v3 unwinnable at that point. Muri coming in hot.
Yeah, and you know what's even more like impressive? What the Wave allowed basically to do and set up for themselves is that Muri will have a very fast ultimate, and this is gonna be instrumental for round 3 because if he's gonna be able to get one frag with an ultimate on round 3 on a full buy from Alliance, this is gonna take a huge dent into Alliance economy or even just an entire round. So this is something they have to be aware of. Now probably Muri will gonna play for an orb somewhere on B or on A because it's an against eco. They can just cover him, and it's a free orb for the ultimate.
I was trying to go back there and quickly take a look at VODs, because when I look at Muri's profile, it doesn't say that he played Viper ever, but in the last 2 games they played on Icebox, on the scoreboard it said he did. So I don't know if that's some confusion with the API data or what, but it's interesting. There's a little bit of a gap to play off of, but that's obviously why you put the wall down as well, but it's not covered. Zeke just runs through and takes the kill. Massive opening now, because that denies the spike plant, buys time to break the wall, and this now becomes very difficult to get any sort of a plant on. It's really big from Wave. A 4v2, they've locked the players out, but they have left the A side open. They can't catch the spike crossover, and with Reyna already in position up on A, Kata could be able to do some big, or Kriya, excuse me, could be able to do some big damage if he gets up close with that frenzy. He's checking the angle, sees the foot, there's the pre-fire and the kill. Now up to 150 health, reloaded. This is one of the things about Reyna, right? You get your armor back, so it can still be viable to play that frenzy. One player coming up behind who hasn't yet been spotted. Firath could be in a little bit of trouble. He's being shot at, and Muri takes him down. It's all up to Kriya, and he gets one. Fades out of there right away. Down to the 1v1, low HP on the raise up above. The spray's not quite hitting. Low health as Kriyagon comes around the corner. It's going to be stuck halfway. He comes off it, and Muri, he's insane for the 4K, putting it up 2-0.
How is Kriyagon allowed to do that? Like, there was a good setup, but they lined up a little bit. Nico and Karkas just kind of played against each other because Sky blocked the vision from Jet, and Jet couldn't initially just start shooting at Kriyagon, and he got a double kill with one clip of a frenzy. Take into account of that, right? This is basically a classic on steroids. It deals the same amount of damage up close as the classic, so it requires 2 headshots. So this is actually quite nuts, and also taking into account that he had to control like 7 bullets going into 4 times on the head level for 2 different people. Nuts.
Somebody at Riot's getting a pat in the back now. Oh, Karkas, that's a very aggressive early peek. He dashes through, even through the wall. Obviously, the attempt there to catch them off guard. Had there have been nobody inside that garage, I think it would have been a very successful push, because when you hear that dash, you'll probably presume he's up above and not actually all the way coming up behind you. So I like the attempt with the weaker weapons. You try to make it work and catch your opponents off guard, but it doesn't work here, leaving a man advantage for Alliance now to push up. But they're going to take it nice and slow. Again, sensing that over-rotate that came through in the previous round where they left A open, they've allowed Kriyagon to lurk, and the timing, he's crossed over on the A side, got up behind and taken down Tribune. That's a massive kill, opening up the A side and allowing them now to get the plant.
Grenade will allow to delay the plant, and he still has the ultimate available, as I mentioned before, which is very big now. Will he go for it? He knows that Kriyagon is still somewhere next to him, so he cannot be aggressive with it. In the meantime, Feared got a kill, Kriyagon goes down, so the biggest raid boss possible is not available anymore for the defenses. 2 versus 4 retake, this is gonna be tough.
player standing.
Yeah, especially with the weapons. You know, Muri was the only one with the Vandal. He found himself 1 kill, but you don't really expect a lot from him after that. And just for extra security, that snake bite thrown through for the post plan in case he was able to sneak up.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Wave allowed Cregan to just kind of lyric A again. I don't think there was any reason to kind of leave A unattended. There was still, you know, a lot of time to process of what was happening on the map. We had 4 versus 5. There was no bomb planted. They saw that Alliance wasn't even next to yellow on B side, and because of that, I feel like the over-rotation went too fast, and they lost the control of A and got a freebie. I mean, Alliance got a freebie on A.
So I think they were actually setting up to play the retake on that one, because when they were jiggle peeking the angle, it's how Kriegon got across without being detected. I think the whole logic was that they would let them cross, get the info, and then play, but the timing completely screwed them. Kriegon's just lurking out on middle here, but remember, these guys only have classics, so you expect Alliance to win this round relatively cleanly, and it was an attempt from Wave to push all the way through A. It just didn't work out.
Yeah. But the one thing I really dislike about the round 3 was the fact that we didn't see the Raze ultimate. You know, I feel like keeping it in such an early stage of the game could actually turn the game around, because even if he gets 1 kill and the round is still lost, it does build up economy or destroys the economy for your opponents a little bit, and you can still get the orbs in the next rounds. Like, just, you know you're gonna play eco, so you know you're gonna die, you're probably gonna get aggressive, you can get that orb, so you build up that old economy on and on and on. And it seems like Alliance, and I kind of look at the stats that I had for Alliance on my notes, really like to play aggressive B, like, and it's the same over and over and over again. This is the 4th round and 5th round, sorry, and we already have seen 5 times a aggressive B push from Alliance.
And you can, oh, look at that, straight through the wall. Kriegon with a brave play. Wanted to try and recover the man disadvantage that they had, but instead he falls. And now you're left into this, well, what was a bad situation. The res, the kill, pulls it right on back. And you've got Looker trying to catch them as they push forward to play off of those little squids. But the Seekers aren't going to find anybody, unfortunately. What are they supposed to be, the Seekers? Or are they just little
Jellyfishes?
Orbs? Jellyfish. I never noticed because they're in the air, but that's fair enough.
I mean, there's also Icebox.
Well, there you go. Okay. Well,
but yeah, but
frozen in place then.
Sky has, you know, birds, Tasmanian tiger, jellyfishes, and I guess a flower.
A healing flower. Oh, that's a bad miss for Karkas. He's allowed a crossover, but he at least got the information. Can continue to hold it and cost utility as they cross. They don't have a lot of time, but look at this. That's a perfect fake. They think that those are smokes to cross to the left side, or at least that's the intention, but instead they're going back to B. Wall goes up, but this could easily be a fake. They could be on the A side now, just popping it up. There's no information to play off of, but now here it comes. The plant, the wide peak. They have to cover it. They have to cover it hard, and there's the time. The showstopper comes in to completely stop that plant through the wall. Muri saves the day, and it's all over and done with. Firoth hasn't got time in the 1v2, and the round is won again by Muri. This guy is on fire.
I loved how they played. I really loved how they played. He knew that if that was a double fake and Alliance were gonna go back on B, he has the upper hand. The wall was already used. They had nothing that can stop the wall bang from either side, actually, right? One from the crates that are on site, and from the other one from the tube that Muri had. So good placement, good wall bangs as well, and the ultimate paid dividends in this round. It allowed him to stop the first plant. So crucial placement from Muri. Loved it. But I have to give credit to Alliance. The execution, the double fake was really nice.
It was a good attempt, but really well thought through by Wave. They were ready for that 100%. I like this change-up as well. They still have the passive A player with Reyna, but Jett has come to support, playing up above, but got a little bit greedy. Wanted to peek out and see if there was somebody there. Instead, Hype's able to get the kill, able to pop this ult, which stops you from pretty much doing anything on the site. But it's all still a fake. The thing is, though, Wave haven't bought it. They've realized that, okay, till there's a spike plant, we're not rotating. Muri stayed in the same position he's played before over by Snowman, but Kriegon peeks it, takes him down, and leaves Zeke pretty much alone for now. He has to play relatively passive, but that wall means there's only one angle they can approach from. Hype has managed to spot out one and take him down, but there's Krieg on dealt with. A 4v2 that's perfectly winnable for Wave. The HP of Zeke can be healed back up by Skye. It'll cost a little bit of time, is the only downside. Or maybe she hasn't even got it online because she's not using it. Time is low, the spams through the smoke take down Nico, and that's the round surely done and dusted, but hold on! Zeke's got other ideas, a 3k, but not the ace. Cut off by Kata up on top of the boxes to put it 3-3. That was a really good attempt by Zeke as well, man. We're seeing the firepower of Wave show up.
For sure, but I really loved how Alliance played out this round. Basically, so far, we have only seen Alliance being super aggressive on B opener and then change it up depending on what just goes on during the round. In this round, we have seen double lurking, actually. One on A, one on B, while the team was waiting what's gonna happen. And because of the, let's say, Viper's effectiveness of her skills, like how effective are her skills, she covered both B with the smoke and the wall, while her ultimate allowed to basically fake an entire A. So one agent basically double faked both sides, which allowed the Alliance to make a more concise plan and go for the plant at some point and win the entire run. Really love this wall, different wall than we have seen from before. Good plan. This is something that we didn't see a lot from other teams. Alliance is mixing up the plant spots. I love this because it's so hard then to actually play as a defender. You don't know how to approach this. What is the new angle? How is the map control? Because
he's the one, he's tucked up in the corner and they don't expect it. We're talking about how different things are, how new these positions of the spike plant is. But Looker, he just underlines that point by saying, what about my position? Nobody knows that I'm here, because you're not used to that post plant. And that's a new one we haven't seen from Alliance before. Well, we haven't really seen Icebox before as well, but it's a new thing thrown in there. One other point I want to make quickly is that Carcass and Hype, they're former teammates. We got the Lithuanian duo, or should I say the Lithuanian duo. That's only a handful of people are going to get that, but they used to play together over in Counter-Strike, so now they're coming up against each other here, and it's, I think, going to be a little bit of a mental game. So far, though, Carcass is having a pretty tough start for the Operator player. I think he's yet to get on the board. Yeah,
he's 0-7, though. James Bond happening right now. It's unlucky a little bit. Very aggressive push from Alliance for the first time. Nice hold by Zeke, but then the dash unfortunately puts confusion in his cross replacement.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? You pop the flash, you dash, and then what are you going to do? You're going to follow the guy dashing. Instinctively, another player peeks, kills you. Your crosshair isn't lined up. Your crosshair placement is no longer something to be worried about. Now, you got the Wolf going through to clear the close angles. It's going to actually, they realize that this is a very aggressive, very defensive, post plan. And the reason for this, look at where we've got Viper and Sova. They have all their utility up. They've got, because this round was so quick, right? They've still got the snake bites. They've still got the shock darts. So now, good luck in getting that diffused. You have to bait out the shock darts, the ult, you have to bait out the snake bite. There's so much to worry about. Looker dropped and hold on. Nico's got himself a double. This is doable until he's left by himself. A huge double by Hype to make this round pretty much unwinnable for Nico as he goes in to defuse it. It's not even halfway, and Hype swings out to save the day and secure the round. That is going to be... Whoa, Hype, run. He was thinking about what skin he wanted and didn't realize the spike was about to blow up.
Yeah, it was like, what, half a second off or something?
Yeah, just about. You saw the round ended pretty quickly.
Yeah. But I love how Alliance mix it up, and I just wanted to go back to the round when we have seen Lucker get that quadra kill, right, on B. What I love about this team composition is that both Sage and Viper basically shape the environment around them, and we have seen this in those runs. But hold this thought, because this is a massive hold. But Kata with a double kill.
How many more are they going to expect, though? This is the thing, the crossfires that they've got, it's dealt with, but that was such a nice setup from Wave. With Nico up close, he's able to take them down, but they're not even focusing on clearing the corner because they see his teammate behind, a little further back, just outside of that gray box, who is peeking, distracting them. He goes back around the corner, Nico takes one, he takes two, but it's not enough because they don't win the duels. It's a low buy, and that's where I love seeing, like, when you've got your sheriffs and weaker weapons, I love seeing those kind of stacks attempted, especially with how consistently Alliance have been hitting the B site. That's a really good read by Wave, which again, it just didn't work out, so it doesn't look that great, but it was a really well thought through.
I mean, depends on what you think is a good outcome, right? Did they kill few players, hurt the economy, I think that was still okay. Also got some orbs. So I think it was quite a valiant effort. But I have to give to the observers, by the way, some props, because those overshot views are actually quite beautiful and give a lot of information to us.
Exactly. It's nice to be able to see all the utility coming in those situations, right?
Right.
This is a big change. So for Wave, they're again going to be locked out. The wall went up at just the wrong time. I don't know if he caught that, but I don't know if they've even noticed the fact that their orb, what am I talking, orbit? Their poison orb isn't actually where they want it to be. It's not on the spike right now. It's just, there it is in front of him at the broken wall. So that denies a lot of utility, and it's all down to timing and not being ready for that wall to go up. Kriegon, he goes through the smoke, caught in a bit of an awkward fight, heals up, doesn't go for the dismiss, and that could be a fatal error. A 3 versus 1 as Kata takes another, and they double peek into the final. So it works out okay in the end, but a little bit of a hiccup on that push to A.
Yep. But so far, Alliance seems very consistent on the attack rounds, and we know Icebox is favoring the attackers a little bit. And by the way, I think this is a healthy balance to the competitive scene, right? If the maps are a little bit attackers based, because otherwise the attackers will be reluctant to actually execute anything if they would be, like, you know, always handicapped by the map design. So I love how Icebox favors them. Because of that, we have consistent pushes, good executes that are not just basically, you know, decreasing the confidence in the team.
Fast play by Alliance towards B is nothing to be surprised about. And we'll see how this one works out, though, because again, Kriegon, he's going to go through, but doesn't even pop the flash. This time he just feels like his raw aim is going to win him the duels, and indeed it is. You can see the confidence is stacking up now for Alliance and Wave. This is the kind of round where it can really throw you off. The wall just goes up and a player runs through instantly. You can't predict that. But versus the weaker weapons, it is a risk, but one that is at least giving them some dividends for now. And baiting out the plant to... Ooh, that's a nice little bounce. But baiting out the plant to try and see if any utility comes through, any spam, so they can spam on back and take the kills, but nothing's going to happen. And even with the... No, it's not the buffed Marshall, actually, never mind. But
that's gonna be a new metagame, by the way. But I think so. But the gun requires so much practice. It's so different than the other guns in the game, and requires without really consistent counter strafing, I don't think you can shoot it well, you know. And also you can just basically zoom peek with the new buff, because there's almost no difference in the movement speed. So
90%.
Yeah, and it's so cheap. It's 1k. Right, for 1k you basically have a consistent shotgun that deals always 100 damage, and if it's a headshot, then, you know, it is what it is. But
and your other option of the Stinger is now 1.1k, and it's slightly less effective. Slightly, but still. Ooh, I like this mid-crunch that's going on by Wade. Now, we mentioned how they can't necessarily maintain the control in the same way. The res is popped, but immediately there's a peek to try and trade out that kill or stop the res from coming through altogether. Alliance handle it, but still leave it into a 3 versus 3. Going back to the default of moving to the B side, they have to run through an enemy wall. And with the ult pop, this is where the decision-making comes into effect. Fearoth is trying to spam and delete this player. If they can drop that ult, or if they could have in the last few seconds, then this would have left them in a position where they could actually go for it. The other side of the coin, though, is the fact that because they have the wall up, they don't have the info. They can't see if this is 1 or 2 players. Fearoth spams up close, goes to back yellow, and spams there as well. He's giving away like, hey, yeah, there's lots of players here, guys, so that this rotate can come through. Waver being conscious of it being an A-hold, but instead, Alliance are going back through the tube. It's being watched, though. We got to take a look at Sky, who's about to take a fight and take Kriegon down. Now caught up behind the door. Seeker goes out, trying to distract some fire and indeed absorb some bullets. Looker healing up, but he's so low right now, swinging out. He's not expected to go back around this angle. Now if he checks it, but he walks right past. Huge position by Nico, big kill, and it's finished off by Zeke to put 8 on the board for Alliance, but at least the 4 for Wave at the halftime.
Switching sides.
Yeah, I mean, I will have to say, Alliance plays really well, and Wave a little bit outgunned. Like, Karkas has a really tough game, 1-12 on the board. He's not, you know, he's not pulling the weight for the team, but still 8-4 is not as disastrous as one would think on this map. So if Wave has a consistent attack side just like Alliance had, this might be pretty close, but right now they're being outgunned. And by the way, one thing I wanted to mention, the round where Kriegon just pushed through the Viper wall, I don't think if you saw it, but there was a boom bot going through the wall, and Kriegon exactly knew when to cross the Viper wall to not get spotted by the boombot. It was actually such a small detail, but that allowed him to push and get that kill.
Yeah, indeed. I actually didn't notice that in the moment. One of those things, there's so much going on. Glad you caught it. Alliance in here to a 4 versus 2, quickly dismissing this pistol round, but hold on. You're going to be left down to Nico, and Nico has been damn solid. Not only that, but he's got a Frenzy in his hands. No armor, of course. Frenzy now costing 500 means you can't get your armor up, but because he was investing into flashes, it didn't quite matter. He was happy to take that weapon.
But we were playing on 2-on-2, right?
Oh, are we? Of course, yeah. So the Frenzy is still costing
400, it's the Frenzy pistol rounds, you know?
Oh, of course, yeah, this week. This will be the second last day, right? And then next week. My bad. Completely forgot that. Thank you, Lothar. Down to a 1v1. But Nico doesn't actually know where this final player is. That's the only downside for him. But he suspects he's on A. Because he was before, right? This is 30-second old info, but especially after that kill, if he isn't on A, if he was holding mid or something, he's rotated at this point.
I don't believe any professional duo would just not play together.
He's being faked by the wall! He's being faked by the wall! Left. We just had the wall go up from Alliance, and Nico spotted it and thought, oh no, he's probably holding it, so he rotates back to A. He's going to walk right on the site. If he thinks that he's on the B site, surely he's not even going to check this close right corner. He does! He checks it! Wow, well done by Nico to catch that shot and still be proactive in clearing the corners. That was a big fake, and then he got sold. I thought he was dead to rights, but he still just about manages to get that shot in.
I don't think he was scared because of the wall, but I thought that what went into Nico's head is, he popped the wall, so he's rotating towards B right now from A. Because if I am in a situation when I play 1 versus 2 on any given round, 2 really experienced players in my opponent's team will have to play together and just play retake against the one guy. It's such an easy round, so they will never be separate in the beginning of the rounds. Sorry, at the retake scenarios. So this is why he went for that B and then fought the Viper already rotating.
Well, here we go. The dash through up above. They're going on the zip line. They're going all over, trying to pressure Wave, but the kills are coming in. This is looking pretty damn solid from Wave. I like the shift of momentum, right? Typically, we're seeing Alliance play a very, very fast attacking side. Now Wave come in and they're like, we don't care that you're on an eco. We're still going to bring it to you. We're going to send it fully, and they only lose 1 player for it. Sometimes that is just the way to go instead of playing it slow.
Yep, that is correct. And from what I see, Alliance on full buy rounds really likes to push the B long as well on defense, which is interesting. Maybe you can shed some light on that.
I don't know. I know nothing.
Okay. I mean, you know, we have Lucker who probably cuts off Kitchen with his wall in most of the rounds, unless he goes for like a cheeky angle somewhere on a boost on B, maybe on the stack, or maybe on A. But that allows the B to be aggressive. In the meantime, we have an aggressive round from Wave, but it's being stopped by Lucker and Hype.
Yeah, the split that they went for, I think Looker got on top of the wall. I'm not 100% sure, but he took the kill either way as the wall was being put up. This is pretty huge now because Wave, that wall, like, they can't do anything. They can't do a damn thing. As soon as Zeke fell there, when Looker found that kill, you don't have your Sage wall because it was used to try and use that B split, which was shut down. So your Sage is out of the equation now for that plant. Then you're like, okay, well, at least we got the Viper wall and Zeke's dead. So now you've got nothing.
I'm actually very confused. Why did we see Sage push mid when it's such a, like, let's say, dangerous route to take to the side, right? And then she's on an off angle for that wall. That wall is so crucial for the plant because it's so easy to just spam every single wall to damage the planter. So I find that a little bit confusing of what was the plan there. But at the same time, we have seen the difference between Wave and Alliance in those runs where Alliance put a lot of pressure by having lurkers that wait for the proper execution, while here we had the mid push by 2 players that was just instant stop, and then the B push was basically stopped because of that as well.
Seeker's coming in. Firot's in trouble trying to drop out of heaven. Now for Wave, they're just overwhelming the site, but Looker, luckily, able to grab himself a kill. 8 bullets left as he swings around, down to 3. Needs to go for the reload pretty soon, and now he's got cover from his teammates to do so. It's left all down to Nico as Hype swings with another Phantom frag, and Nico, he catches 1! Almost the second. That would have been damn close if he took down Hype. I don't know Looker would have been able to trade in time. We could have had a big 1v3, but no, it's not to be. And so double digits now for Alliance's Wave, just about on that 6.
good effort by Wave, but it seems like the thing that they're missing is crucial. Something that we have seen over and over on Icebox is that lurker role. You know, that what we have seen so far puts the most pressure on the defenders. Is whenever there's an attack, there's one guy somewhere on the map that catches up the rotations, or just allows to not rotate easily through the fastest routes. And this is a problem with Wave. They don't have that right now during the attacks. All of the attacks kind of like a brute force that goes somewhere, and that's it.
Oh, speaking of brute force, there's a brute force out on mid. Oh, the shot missed by Kata, but the ult pop for security. Tribune quickly connecting the headshot, and Wave now have the spike plant, the site control. They don't have the weapons. They haven't recovered much weaponry, but at least they've got that advantage in the spike plant, so they can play off of that. Now, in terms of post-plant utility, you've got snake bites probably, but not a whole bunch outside of that. And now with the ult down, it's going to be very hard to spam on the back of those snake bites. Hype moves out of the way, so he's not going to take the double damage, waits for it to fade. Now with the Phantom as well, this is the perfect weapon for this kind of engagement. Second snake bite down already, but a 1v2 to win out. He clears the close corner, a player creeping up on his left, but he doesn't quite see him. And as he goes in for this kill, he might not be ready for this flank to come in just off his screen, but Hype gets it done. I don't think there's time. It's going to be tight,
there is.
But he gets it. 0.9 of a second left as Alliance connect 11 rounds. This was a massive eco, first of all, from Wave, but a heartbreaking loss in the end.
Yeah, I really loved how both Vipers played this out. The snake is why it's being used either to stop the diffusers. The snake bite from Hype was used to stop an angle push from Wine's side, which allowed to give him more time, and for the Sova player to basically get an angle for another defender that has had to push to stop the spike diffuse. So really well thought out, and fortunately Hype did have that ultimate. Without that one would have not been possible for the retake.
It's a shame, though, that Tribune continued to play so aggressively. If he tucks in, you win that round because he's not diffusing, right? 0.9 of a second, all you got to delay. And I'm sure he's going to be kicking himself. It's one of those really hard rounds to take from morale. But look, you got to turn around. You got to tell yourself, hey, that was an eco. We still did so well. Now we've got the weapons. This is where you make it work. It hasn't started out in a fantastic fashion. They've lost Muri, who had the showstopper online, but they've managed to trade back. With Kriegon down, Firoth playing up above. He's played here a number of times before, but there's plenty of backup. 3 players now on the A site. Do Wave make this read? With the res coming through, you should do. You know there's at least 3 because Firoth's been playing here, so the rotate to B seems quite likely. Only problem is they haven't got control. That's what Zeke is trying to do. He's pushing up through the tube, managed to make his way into halls, but the player he's looking for is in Snowman. Knowing that they've given up so much mid control, he wants to play this very, very passive. The heals just went through from Nico there to bring everybody back up to full health. Hype is about to fire a snake bite. 30 seconds left. He just needs to delay, and at this point you might almost consider not planting default, although they have a small gap in which they can still plant, trying to bait the player out into peeking while Zeke takes this super slow. Thunder's Fury denies the initial plant, tries to get more damage. I think that's the tag as well, but Hype is taken down. Here comes the ult from Zeke. This is a really well played round, but hold on, they're down low on time, rushing around. Zeke wants to plant for mid, knowing the others are coming in through spawn, gets it down with 3 seconds left, but can he get out of there? No, he can't. Kriegon deals with him. Carcass, he's at a slow game, but now the 1v1, his health so low, he doesn't know if Kriegon's back up on full. Could have healed up, but the knife out, so unnecessary, and a mistake that cost the round, with Carcass coming in hot with an ace.
My god, what an amazing round because of the utility being used. I really loved how Hype delayed the plant, which in combination with Fearwood's ultimate from Sova allowed basically to not only get so much damage on the players, but also just stop the plant for such a long time. So Wave was pushed to plant in a very, let's say, unfamiliar spot for a post plant. But why did we see that knife out from Kriegon? That's a head scratcher. That was something that was not necessary, especially since he for sure got the info that Carcass is on his last breath. He had been, I think, at 25 HP. It was very similar to what Kriegon had. So to just one bullet, he could have even maybe spammed those doors. Maybe he was just hiding there, right? But that swing of a knife did cost him his life.
Yeah, and I think it's no surprise we're having a pause coming through here now. Alliance are going to want to take a breather after that one. Those kind of things, taking your knife out, it's a bad habit, and a lot of players have it. The thing is, it's not very easy to just go, oh, well, it's a mistake when it's such an important round. You got to take time, you got to take a breather, and again, look at what you've just seen from your opponent. Wave have gone through some pretty complicated rounds here, and so it's time to start assessing on the ground in the moment what you're seeing. The rounds are back live in front of your eyes, and you can see that, at least to start this one off, things aren't going too well for Alliance. They try aggression down B. This is something you'll see from Pith on G2 a lot, but instead of it being the Viper player, so as to keep the utility, it was the Reyna. I'm a fan of that change up, not surprisingly, but it doesn't work out as Kriegon falls. Now you've got Hype left to maintain the site, while the rest of the team have given up A control and are trying to scrap around middle. But now, as they've not spotted anything, it's time to settle back into defaults, in fact, a B-heavier defense, and see what Wave do next.
I really like how defensive Wave just switched up the gears and went to the defensive stance on attack right now, because they know that Alliance likes to push a little bit on the defense as well, especially when they have an advantage. But this is discipline from Alliance right here. They're just waiting out. They know they have the advantage. They don't need to push. With such a score, 7-11, they have every advantage possible, including economy, and they got another kill. Still 4 versus
left.
3 for the retake.
Kata had to take that peek because players, the control of the right side was completely gone because Alliance were so heavy on B. So he peeks out the left side to try and grab another kill and maintain some control for this solo A defense, but it doesn't work out. Lookers shut down. Wave are looking so damn good right now, but hold on, 2 quick kills right back into it. Hype, he's got an angle where they can't actually shoot him with that off, but he can't get it done because Nico comes in swinging like Tarzan up on those vines and finds the kill quite quickly. It's 11-8 now as Wave close in that gap.
Hype is popping off, by the way, 21-9. And Karkas is picking up. Look at that. He's actually on the second place on the scoreboard with 12 kills. And was he 2-12 on the defense, or was it 3-12? He got 1 ace, so his confidence is back, and that might actually be a winning factor for Wave. They needed him to show up.
Yeah, they were definitely struggling when Karkas wasn't there, but now things are changing for sure. Muri was just spotted coming through that smoke, but Hype had a snake bite out, wants to try and deny that spike plant. Seekers go out, they're spotting players and pushing Alliance back, opening some space for this plant to come through. They know there's no one too close. Dealing with Hype, the frenzy from afar, of course, not going to do too much damage. And as much as Alliance were hoping this would be a mid or A hit, all the players came through B. The choke point wasn't being held, and that gives a nice and easy round, at least should be, to Wave. Still some utility to play off of, but it's not even going to get time to be deployed, despite the 1 headshot from Looker. It's a 1v4, and Cat is pretty much down and out of this round. You don't really want to save the 25 armor. You're not going to use the Sheriff next round, so you go for it, but Muri takes him with a 3rd, and that is 11-9. Only 2 rounds now between these teams. Things are certainly getting scary for Alliance.
Especially since they're actually on a low economy, right? Firod has 4.9, but before his buy, so I'm not sure how much he have to spend. He will most likely buy a rifle, but then probably still the utility has to be spent on. No, he has the maximum, so it's only 2k spare for Alliance. This is the do or die basically, because if they're not gonna win this round, they're gonna get the bonus from losing a round, but it's still a low buy then with small shields. So this is a crucial round for Alliance right now to seal basically the deal for this entire match. They get the first blood.
So the screen went down, Kata peeks, takes the kill, nice and clean start for Alliance. But it's 4 players towards the B site. The faith that they have in Kriegon to hold down A right now is inspiring, almost. He's only on a passive angle, so they're happy to play retake, knowing that they still have so much utility to play off of, and they don't have the Sage Wall. So it makes it a little bit tougher if you want to go in for the retake, not being able to block out the lower route, but still something to work with, especially because Wave seem to just consistently plant in a spot that they can't hold with weapons from above. Another frag for Looker, and at this point, what do you do if you're Wave?
I feel like this is the moment where you have to be passive, and you just hope someone makes a mistake from Alliance. Because you cannot just brute force yourself on a side. You're gonna be at a numbers disadvantage, and most likely outgunned at that point, even if it goes 1-for-1. Then Alliance wins by 2. So taking some risks for some gunfights, get a kill, rotate back. But the thing is, they're running out of time right now. They have to execute.
Showstopper out. Might actually find a couple of victims. There were 2 players above, but it's only Krieg on to fall, and Nico's left all by his lonesome. Swung on, killed. The problem in this round, and I'll tell you exactly what it was for Wave. Sure, in a 3v5, they had 55 seconds when they started to fall back. I agree. You gotta hope that your opponent makes a mistake. Now, are they likely to push with a 2-man advantage? Not really.
Probably
so
not.
you waited out, as they did, right? They waited. They went to the A site. They waited for someone to push, but they got spotted by, I think it was a drone. That kind of ruins your round at that point because you're done, right? They know you're there. I don't know if they saw all 3, but the problem was Hype had pushed B. He went all the way through. You're hoping the push comes on A, but it came on B. Now you're screwed because there are 4 players on that A site, and you're going to need a miracle to come out on top of it. That orb comes out very, obviously, as quick as it could, but they should know that there's players crossed into Tube. Looker gets caught off guard, though, leaving Wave with the advantage, and they just back off. That's a big vacuum of control now that Alliance need to react to.
Yeah, I really loved how they just fell back from that position. I'm actually kind of surprised that there was no wall from Alliance to just stop the push. There was no wall actually anywhere on the site, right?
But they didn't put down the orb. They didn't activate the orb on mid to allow the players to cross out a tube, so those guys just got screwed on the cross back, and Op was holding it, and you're dead. That's a really peculiar decision. I don't know if it was timing that Zeke just ran out because he was very low, but if you're told, okay, I have no more poison, you don't just well, you can cross in the open, but that's the risk, right? That you run into that. I would be a much bigger fan of waiting 10 seconds, 5 seconds, pop it back up, and then cross over. But
there's still also Jet there. Those Raze and Jet who crossed, so there was still like smokes from Jet available. So it's kind of peculiar. But now, Plan goes down, but it's Kada who puts the nail in the coffin for the second defender. And 1 versus 4, not really a good spot to be in. Nico, again, by the way, he is the last man standing for Wave every single round.
Could be the map that gets Alliance through to Masters, but remember, you're not going to quite expect the same kind of game as on Icebox. This is Wave's comfort zone. This is where they want to be playing for sure, and it's their map pick after all. Starting out on the attacking side, Wave want to rush down long and take this one quite quickly after being smoked out in mid. The flanks are underway, but they've got the site pretty clean. The pre-fires from Hype not going to land anything, but the Nano Swarm very nearly does. Carcass being healed up, and there's superb value from Sky. Getting Carcass from a 1 hit to any pistol back up to basically full HP without armor. That is huge to start it off.
Oh,
and the spike is going to be planted and just about dodging the aftershock and all the utility making it into hell. Nico gets dropped. The quick trade back as Wave pull out 2 kills, but what was that peek from Zeke? He wasn't ready for anybody up above. Maybe thought the smoke was still there. A fatal mistake and a 3. Oh no, Muri caught with a nade in hand as well. Down goes 1 more. And this is going to be tough to hold on to. There's plenty of time still to get on the spike. In comes the recon dart. It's going to not actually reveal them, but they know both players are here. And Tribune buying a bit of time, but not able to stop that spike defuse. 1-0 as Alliance pick up the pistol.
I really like the setup that the Alliance had. They actually gambled with the smoke on scene that no one will push it. Then we'll have seen that both Breach and Omen just took control of double doors and didn't pay attention to C at all. Because of the noise that Wave did on mid and just rushed in on A long, that allowed Alliance to make a super fast rotation towards A and have a full retake. Now, what was hilarious though later on is that we have seen it's actually quite funny. We had seen the paint shows missed the plant. We had seen 2 Shoktas miss the plant, and we have seen Aftershock miss the plant.
Hello, baby. I mean, there's eco farming, and then there's, well, eco farming. And the important thing here is this is round 3. Why don't you take a look at the ultimates right there, or in a minute when we get back to it, because Kata found a 4K, which means the showstopper is available. Now, in a round like this, let me just paint the picture and look at the loadout, right? Weak weapons for Alliance, strong weapons for Wave. That showstopper is invaluable to have online so early.
That's literally what I touched upon in Icebox, right? But for Wave. It's funny how world works. It's just the other way around. But
Yo.
Aftershock to stop the push. Double flashes. There goes the rocket. Oh, unlucky.
nothing from it, but Kata still delivers 1 kill. No support there on the other. Looker was a little bit further behind flashing. So Muri walks through the smoke, obviously not caught by the flash because, well, he's walking through the smoke. And so an easy kill, bringing it back to a 4v4. Now, in a round like this, you'll take trades on the defensive side. If you've got Spectres and you can take down a Vandal, hey, go for it, man. 2 or 3 kills and you're still in a pretty good spot because this is the bonus round, as we always talk about.
Yeah.
And I say Spectres, it's not even that. They even have a pistol in play.
And it's very important that Wave knows what is at stake. This is why Raze and Jet are still guarding that invaluable Vandal in the corner that was dropped from Brimstone.
It does sort of pigeonhole you into playing the C side, doesn't it? Because you don't want to give up control. Either that or leaving a lurker there all round.
It does, but a push with the double duelist setup, and in the meantime, Lucker is being killed by Zeke. Now they have C control. Sky pushes backside, gives a little bit info if someone is holding CT. In the meantime, Mori does get a kill in the double dose. These Shova shots are really not on point today so far from Alliance. What is happening here?
Not quite landing, unfortunately. Wave completely shutting this down and putting Alliance into a 1v4. It's Hype with a Spectre and not a lot of hope. Again, you can see the positions down towards C long. They're still guarding that Vandal, making sure it's not being taken away. I wouldn't be surprised if they've even lifted it up and put it deep into C long at this point.
Or throw it, you know, behind the map even. It's actually possible in C long.
But either way, it's not going to have any impact because Hype is just playing in Garage and hoping to find an exit or get in there late, keep them around, you know, keep their attention so that he can get them to die to the spike, basically. They're running away. He's going to rush forward because obviously he wants a weapon next round. He doesn't want to survive. And now goodbye. So the idea there, obviously you want to get kills. You want to maybe bait them into sticking too close to the spike, but you also don't want to die to them. Dying to the spike is preferable because even though you'll get an ult charge, they'll get an ult.
You actually don't get an ult charge from the spike.
No, I mean if you died to them, sorry. So if you died to them, you would get an ult charge. They would.
Yeah. But I'm a little bit you know, confused by the Breach and Raze ultimate push at the same time because it's such a telegraphic move, right? If you hear the Raze pop up the ultimate and then Breach follows up with multiple flashes and so on, that just indicates, oh yeah, she's coming here through. So we have to fall back and not die to the rocket.
Well, to start this one off, Kriya gone. Is Kriya gone? He's out of here. He's out of the round. That flash doesn't actually catch the players. Oh, but that almost works out for them because they're not ready for the push. Looker in with a double thumbs up sprayed on the wall and Wave down to a 2v4. First buy round for Alliance, answering up pretty well. Now they've got to, oh, hold on. Seekers pop. They're going to full commit to this. Carcass flash goes in front of him, so now he's able to push through, but a little bit slow on that. Nico left on his own. He's trying to deal with these players. Here's one coming on long as well. He has that information ready for that swing. Catches Fearoth off guard. Aftershock going to push him back so they can get position on the site, cover it with the op, and he is now in trouble. If this shot hits, there you go. Round's over and done with. But good damage in the 2v4 to still take down so many players.
I mean, if it wouldn't be up to Lucker, I feel like this round was already Waves. They had a good plus band if those two players didn't die, but Lucker, with the very good spray transfer, getting that double kill allowed Alliance to get, again, the advantage in the round. Look at that beautiful round. And the thumb up from, from Hype.
Little spray, like, oh, that was good. 8 for 1 right now on Cat. Obviously, 4 eco kills got to be considered in there, so it's a fairly well-distributed game other than that. But it's important, right? You get those ult charges up. That's what we're talking about. It's what you want. Remember, he even found a kill after using his ult unsuccessfully and has built them up since then. So if you're Wave, 3-1, you've still got to buy right now, but losing this probably puts 5 on the board for Alliance. You're going to take an eco, and you're going to be hurting. At least ultimates are going to be coming online pretty soon, but same can be said for Alliance.
I really like how Alliance plays, like, very defensively right now. I feel like they changed a little bit the approach that they had before on this map, because from what I see, they were actually pretty aggressive in double doors and on mid B and on A long when it comes to the first 15 seconds of the round. But now you can see the passive approach. They just don't want to lose a player on the map, which is crucial on a map like Heaven, which I consider more complicated to play on as a defender than even Icebox because of the 3 sides. If you lose one player, you lose so much map control.
The utility control here from Killjoy is massive. They're playing a very C and B heavy stack with 4 players on the left half of the map. The only player on the right side of B was Killjoy with nobody on A because the turret is getting the info. Here's the problem though. Once you destroy that turret and alarm bot, you have zero info. Those players on A are very, very passive, and Wave are making the perfect play in my opinion. You destroy the utility, you leave one lurking, and then you go for the C attack. You know you've dragged over at least 2 players towards that A side of the map, but Lions still do have 3 players here ready to take down this crunch. And I think at this point, you know, it's, whoa, Carcass, nice shot. Caught in the side, stays alive, and now they can heal him back up. The beauty of having a Sky, but never mind, because he's dead. He just gets swung on, but luckily Krigon is dealt with quite quickly, leaving it into it 2 versus 4. Oh, the peak. It was unnecessary. Where's the timing? From Wave, they go out 1 at a time. And as I say that, my feed gets cut, so I don't have any game.
Unfortunately, the same happened to me, right? Is it back?
No playable source is found. Well, I can see it a few seconds behind, so we'll go into a more of a descriptive. Look at Muri. He's went all the way around the back of the site. For the people at home, he will have possibly taken the fight already, and he did indeed lose it. That is a shame. Going down now and putting up a 4th round for Alliance with the defuse that's going to come through. I think they're going to save an operator as well. And I think all in all, fairly decent round from Wave. Very good read. You know, they had some weaker weapons, so they're doing well to still get in there and cause some damage.
Yep. The in-game theme was for you, right? Right now?
Oh, it's back. It's back.
Okay.
Perfect.
Now with the 4 ultimates ready for the attackers, this might be a little bit telegraphic for Alliance as well, especially the Killjoy ult, right? Typically, you want to use it on A. This is the best spot for the Killjoy ult to be used, unless you go for a post-plan situation. Well, then probably still A is the best case scenario. So because of that, I love the way that Alliance plays A. Sorry, B, because of the super fast rotations as well. Look at that. So many people, they just play C retake at this time. And this is the same when we have seen in the pistol round such a huge stack towards more of the middle part of the map.
Look at the flank,
allows them such a fast flank. But Nico on the killer Krigan, that cuts off the lurker, and because of that they have a lot more map control. Grenade spots Brimstone basically and pushes him out of the position. But now, will they plant? Will they even try to plant?
That nade's huge up into heaven. It's going to do good damage. Going to keep them back for a second as well. The plant's still not being secured. They've got their back, they've got their front, and there's the Rolling Thunder. Gonna pop out the the showstopper, excuse me, try to delay any sort of a push, and it basically completely negates that Rolling Thunder. The stun stops Raze from actually being able to peek and fire it deep into spawn. Defender ultimate comes down. This is the Killjoy ult, the lockdown, and so those attackers need to leave the site quickly, being sniped by Kata as they do. The player under heaven, I think, is just going to be fish bait at this point. Muri, no, he still gets a kill, catching them just before he gets detained. A second player detained now means they can feel confident in going for this defuse, but they have to be wary of Carcass. The ult in hand, Looker going to be one hit to it, but Kata shuts him down. In comes Nico, being watched as well. Shot missed, but he was going for the planter. He was scared that they were full sticking it, and that was the right play. For him to wide swing, 100%, because they should be sticking it in that situation from his perspective, but because Looker was so low, as soon as Kata missed the shot, that player gets up and he's like, okay, I might need to trade my teammate. We still have a little bit of time, but that just means that when Nico swings the corner, he doesn't shoot. Looker is 1 HP, and that's GG'd.
Yeah, the problem is when two people are holding your angle that you have to peek to stop the plant from diffusing, actually. You can have good cross replacement. When you see the first guy that misses his shot, he repositions, you kind of prepared for him to re-peek, but then there's a second guy on the left, you have to reposition for that. That guy has an advantage because of that reaction time, so it's such a hard time to do that. And now, a full buy round, but dry peeking into the smoke and being just smoked, literally, from the guy up top, boosted on the stack, allows to get a huge advantage for Alliance. 5-1, and again, another round where there has to be an execute 4 versus 5. And
Rhea loves pushing down mid, man. You see this so often from him, and with the smoke, he snuck into the window, but his back is turned, so he's shot in the back. Seekers go out, Flash as well. Kata in trouble, has to retreat. B side gonna be pushed on. Flash deep into A, confirms there's a player here. He's full blind, but Hype just about makes it away. He's gonna try to jump around the corner, but his former teammate Carcass takes him down. Rush straight into the site. Killjoy ult in effect, and Looker gets it through the smoke, destroys that ultimate, and Carcass has got it all to do. A 1v3, trying to deal with the player in spawn. They're not, well, never mind. Down he goes, straight away. Fearoth is able to take him out and put 6 on the board. Wave, they're getting so close. And the start of these rounds, okay, yeah, they lost a player on long, but other than that, like the B push was really solid. They got so much control. And then Looker just has another one of these rounds where he pops off.
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of odd that no one is actually covering, sorry, not no one, but Jet wasn't covering the left side of the site first when trying to go for the smoke, because that was her angle. Killjoy should have just been watching the other side, the backside, while the Jet should have been watching the entrance of B. And because of the way they played, they didn't have a good crossfire, and Locker had been just allowed to get just free real estate basically, and shot who was that, Carcass in the side because of that. So a little bit of miscommunication, I guess, or very chaotic round, because pushing B side in general, I feel like is the most tough and hard to solve for teams, because there's so many angles that you can be pushed up from. If there's a lurker from double doors, he can be instantly on mid and push you from there. There's also the C-link and A-link, right? And there's still someone can be backside. This is where Skye is crucial with her ultimate, or the birds, to just get info. What are the positions of the players?
Well, that was a technical pause there, but it is long since gone as a push comes out on A long. 3 players just rushing forward, ult through to C, spots nobody, but it was actually inside of smoke, unfortunately. Kata, oh, here we go, the shutdown from Wave. One after another, they fall, and a 4v2 emerges. Having dealt with everybody that pushed A, they're confident that A should be pretty clear. So they rush forward, still push a Hawk through, up high in the air. They're not concerned about full flashing people, really. They just want to know if it flashes them at all. Knowing that it's clear, they're free to plant that spike, nade up to heaven just to make sure. And this is a very, very clean round from Wave, and a great reaction to the aggression Alliance attempted.
Yeah, I really like also the change up from Alliance, because they are winning so far ahead right now, 6-1, and they knew they were playing very passively the entire game, apart from having a lurker in mid in form of Cregan. They were just mixing it up, and I like that. That catches your opponents off guard, but this time Wave was prepared, outgunned them when Alliance started to be aggressive, and the plan failed. But I like the switch up. And in this round, we'll see what will be the setup for both teams, because I felt this one was stopped basically because Wave played default, which, as I pointed out before we started the game, might be the winning play against the aggressive pushes from Alliance. And it seems like Alliance is setting up another one. Look at that. Breach, Omen, and Raze in double doors. Most likely a flash into a peek from Raze and Omen at the same time, but it's being stopped by the boom bot first. Change of plans.
That's pretty interesting. So with Cregan spraying it, the idea is, oh, look, there's a Vandal here. You might want to peek it. He even pushes forward. He gets taken down. But the idea is now the op can get the trade, but the shot's missed. And that's going to cost you now. Wave with the man advantage, with the map control. They know at least where your operator is. He's typically the C player, so it doesn't give too much away. Drone goes out. Kata wants to get the kill, but no. Pre-fire is there. The ultimate popped and a kill for your trouble. Popping inside along, nothing else. Still man disadvantage. You've lost the operator. This is a pretty big hit that Wave have managed to deliver straight away. See long control going to be sought after by the attackers, and well, look at where Alliance are going.
Yeah, they'll go the other way. So they anticipated a push on A. All of the Killjoy utilities being recalled right now, so they will be available in 10 seconds. So for the retake, we're gonna see a turret for sure. In the meantime, a dash from Jet on side. Carcass just takes the map control here, but there's no one. Skye didn't flash anyone. They know the entire side is clear. This is the strength of Skye. It's a little bit, I would consider it sometimes even stronger than a recon arrow, because you just need instant info if someone's holding a specific angle, and you can just use the Hawk for specific angles if you want to check. So it's a nasty tool if you know how to use it, and your teammates can read how you use it. In the meantime, a slow rotation from Alliance. They just stack up in a shot, and I feel like they're gonna just stay there, because, you know, losing 3 guns against 4 in this case, and 2 ultimates, Brimstone ultimate, probably not worth trying to defuse the spike to get that ultimate out when you have an operator and 2 rifles. So a good decision from Alliance to play basically a full buy next round, I'm guessing. Not exactly, but there's gonna be some still 3 full buys for the guys that are saving the weapons. So it's an upside for them for sure, worth it.
It's interesting that the spike will actually kill people, but I suppose the map remains untouched as well as the turrets.
You know why? I have read some fan theory about that. So basically the spike only affects Radianite, and because the agents are affected by Radianite themselves, that's why they have powers and so on.
Oh.
They are being killed by the spike.
They're like being absorbed by it, right?
Yes, because the spike basically tries to steal the Radianite.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I never made that connection before. They'd have like Radianite in their blood or something. Pretty cool. Hero's out here with the op this time instead of Kata, holding out on long. The Sova wants to be the one that holds the long angle because he's typically playing A, getting the information for the early rotates. There's the Wolf spotted coming around the corner, doesn't need to be shot. Recon goes through just to make sure there's no players pushing, and they've got that info now that they're free. Flash, gonna blind him. Gonna fall back and just play the post plants at this point. Probably even suspecting that you could have a Brimstone ult popped or the Raze showstopper to try and shut them down, but nothing's gonna happen. There's going to be a straight up plant as they move through, baiting out the shock dart. Only the one thrown, of course, in case it's a fake, so he has another for when they go through for the next one. Here it comes. It's on its way, but they're waiting that one out as well. Out in the open, Hype going to be taken down by that Nano Swarm for sure, but it was to cover Kata's ult, so they actually get 2 kills, only lose Hype. That's pretty worthwhile, considering as well they spotted the spike dropped on the floor, so they know now that's good. So player's going to have to walk out in that position to get it. Picks it up. Spotted by the drone. There comes the darts. It's a recon just. Both players behind the site, both being seen, and a swing and a hit for Kriagon. The Fuse going to come on through. Don't know if he's going to go for it. Probably give the ult charge to someone else. No. Oh, yeah. No.
I mean, everyone else's ultimate is, I guess, more worthwhile, but it's already then found, and I'm assuming that the other players have just the ultimate's very low. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hype was dead. So
okay, makes sense.
Makes sense, exactly. But in general, I like the way Wave attacks, even when they try to delay the plant, because they need to get that ultimate first for the retakes. But the problem is, at such a disadvantage when it comes to numbers, it's still a very, very tough round to play. They needed for Alliance to make a mistake when they try to delay the plant. When someone peeks, takes a risk, and they get a kill. Nico feeds his ultimate, and then they can pop off from that. But in the meantime,
what? Carcass, he sprayed away, missed the shot. Spearoth misses the return. That's such an awkward fight, but it works out for Wave. Now in a 5v2, and this round is pretty much over and dusted with that very initial fight. You can see them all stacked up outside along. They had no intention of playing this round slow and respectful. It's all about confidence, and I'm glad they had it. You know, in the previous round as well, we saw that third person flyover at the end. And one thing I think is worth note is that if you look at those players, and I was a bit confused from the perspective we saw. They were on site. If Recon Dart came through, they just didn't shoot it. Yeah. And then Kriagon was able to come behind them. But it was the fault line that came through from Breach, from Looker, that got both of them, and they were just screwed. Your rate of fire is gone. You're not going to turn around and shoot a recon dart. At that point, you're dead anyways, because she can't flick back to the angle. So they were just hoping they got peaked on the left side. Kriagon came behind them, and it was very, very easy on that, just because of the utility usage. And for Wave, that's an easy write-off of a round in those post plans.
I just realized I missed a very obvious joke for Icebox. When Carcass was 0-7, he was basically cosplaying a Carcass.
Oh god.
I have to ask him if his nickname is actually because of the grindcore / death metal band from the 80s, well, and 90s, which is Carcass. One of my favorite bands. I wonder.
I have to say, Lothar, I've never been as surprised as when I opened up your album on Spotify and listened to it. I was like, oh, it's Lothar, his band, so probably some violins. They'll probably play like 1812 Overture or something. And then it's not.
Yeah, I was a metalhead. You know, I had longer hair than most women. Like, I could literally sit on my hair.
Oh god. I cannot imagine that. Like, I think you'd get on quite well with Blah. I don't know if you've ever met him.
No, I actually did not. But no. I had some funny stories about my hair, but maybe next time.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can go there. It's a slow round though. So say there's a Mongolian throat singing heavy metal band. They're unbelievable. Blah introduced me to them. I'll have to find their name after this for you.
Okay.
But for now, we're going to find a couple of shots. Kata misses, and because you're not a Jet, there's no way out. There's no easy way to fall back. That shot had to be hit, and even then, it probably would have been a 1-for-1 trade because they were stacked up and ready. Really proactive way from Wave to get rid of that operator that they've seen. Okay, they probably didn't know it was going to be Kata. They'd seen it on Fearoth the round before, or past 2 rounds. But this time, they're like, no, that operator's dead. We're going to deal with him. Perfectly executed. Now they've got a man advantage, but they are walking into C. Lots of Killjoy utility in play, and that's going to be activated right now. And 2 players still holding on. The rocket not going to land at all. Swinging back, Looker saves the day by eliminating Yuri. That is not going to do anything, the orbital strike. It buys them a little bit of time, but Looker does peek around the back of it. And so he gets taken down. Another kill coming in for Fearoth, and he's stuck on the back. All they need to do is deal with him and plant that spike. They've gotten him down, but there might not be any time. 6 seconds, 1v1. Kriegon gonna walk forward. That spike is gonna be planted, but it's gonna cost them the round. It doesn't even get on the ground. As 8-4 we go. Alliance coming out with a pretty strong defense.
Such an awkward round also for Wave because of the fact that they basically pushed without Sova, right? And this is where Mori misses his rocket. He had no idea if someone's actually hiding on platform or not. If they would have that certainty of player positioning, I'm sure Murray would actually just at least push out someone from the position or did just get a kill. But since they have a Sky instead of Sova, they lack that info. There's no drone to get the better info. There's only the Tiger who doesn't have like the full vision because it's short-sighted, right? So it's a little bit awkward for Mori. And also worth mentioning is that when who's that? That was Tribune, right? Tribune was trying to plant the bomb in the last 5 seconds. Only 2 ways of playing that round. Either you plant it or you fake the plant and you take the one versus one. And he went for the plant instead.
Yeah, it was an attempt, but didn't quite work out. Now we come into this situation, the pistol unfolding in front of our eyes, and Kriegon with the frenzy in hand. The frenzy round, sorry, not the pistol round. We're not on the new update, as we pointed out in the last map. The heal going to come through. Now, the heals are incredibly important, but you can see for Alliance, they don't have any. So Looker is left on 15 health. He still has utility, but for the most part, he's left to just lurk and maybe find a kill. I think his utility will be thrown out towards that C site. It depends how they want to play this one.
He was actually not spotted by the Hawk. So this was a really good lurk because of the fact that he wasn't spotted by the Hawk, and because of that, Nico maybe could have rotated offside C, and this is why Looker pushed towards it to get map control for his teammates. Unfortunately, he fell, and now Nico is anticipating the push. Doesn't get the first shot, but it's still 1 versus 2, and Fearoth has to plant the bomb, and he plants with the knife out. He doesn't get the quick equip. Could have cost his life, actually.
Yeah, well, you see, he's had the knife out for a little bit as well. Fearoth's going to throw a shock dart through, but it's not going to help all that much. Down to 1 HP. Recon dart goes out. Right click, not going to happen. He had to get them both with it, really, considering he was literally 1 health. And so we go with 5 rounds for Wave. Now, in that round as well, I really liked a number of things. Alliance rotated to A site with 2 players while Looker was lurking. They made steps down short, but I think that Zeke was so far away because he was playing up at the spawn side of A, right? That little alleyway you walk through where Jet is now.
Yep.
So he didn't hear those steps, so they didn't rotate. And the idea was, okay, if there's someone around B, he'll hear steps. They'll call for rotates, like it's clearly an A hit. I'm hearing lots of steps. You wouldn't know if it's 2 or 3, but you would know it's more than 1, right? And at that point...
This is where Yoru is needed.
Exactly. But then, so you sell the rotate, then Looker goes on, takes C site, maybe gets them in the back. But instead, Looker walks into a player ready for him, and it's done. But also, very proactive Wave to still be conscious of that angle and take such a passive position where one player can watch the cross to site and not be worried about backstab.
Mm-hmm. Now an aggressive push on B, it's happening. Zeke being pushed out by the paint shells, but still no one's going in there because of his utility, and no one could cross and plant. Now there's a plant going very safe spot, and there's a read on it. He gets a push. Kata dies, but still, they still get the trades, even though there's a Looker flash affecting 3 people. Well played by Wave.
Really well handled. I love that Molotov as well, because when you go B, there's only 2 positions you're going to plant it. The key part is that he doesn't throw it in at the very start. He waits and then chucks it onto the position. He has his lineup. He knows, obviously, because in a way, right, you can say it's very easy. The Nanoswarm has got a big radius, and you just have to cover both plant spots. And in fact, you know he's not on the left one, so you only have to cover the far one. But the important part about it was, if you miss that, if it goes slightly too deep, and you think about how the Killjoy is throwing it, right? You aim a little bit up, it's going way too deep, and it's missing. So you kind of have to know that lineup. You practice it a fair bit in your custom servers, and all that practice in server time got it for him, because Kata gets hit by the nano, has to push out. They easily trade him as Murray's there to take the kill. Or not even trade, they just kill him. Murray takes the kill, and then you just deal with everybody one at a time after.
I really like the way the Wave played the A long, by the way. Raze did use her pen shots to get the control of that. Then Karkas pushes it and checks for any sounds. He gets the sound from the nanobot most likely, so he knows he can't really push forward. So he falls back. But at the same time, they had 3 players on A. So rotation from Raze to B happened, and Nico is taking place on A. Now they have 2 people on A rotating. Raze is still ready to go from CT when there's an entire push happening, but there's not much sounds being triggered by Alliance on attack. They go slowly back and reposition. Now, Wave does have those information because of the Sky Hawk on long. No one was spotted. That triggers again a rotation. Now we can see almost an entire team like being split between C and A. B is completely open because of the utility from Killjoy, and that gives a good defense line for them. Let's see if they're actually gonna benefit from that.
Molly is huge. It completely stops the push. 25 seconds on the clock now, and they have to make a decision. It looks like the B site is where they want to go, but Kata, he dodges the ult by just staying in the back of window. They don't know that he's here, but they'll suspect it. He needs to make a move and potentially come on a flank to help his teammates out. That's what he's doing now. But the team are answering up with their own kills. 10 seconds left as the spike plant comes in. Kata jumps into window, but Fearoth is closing it out quick as can be. 9-6. That was a swift conclusion. Honestly, I thought Kata was the key player there to come up behind on a flank and really win that round. But Fearoth just turned up.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't look... You know, they will have a good chance at actually pushing that side, but the triple peak from double dose was so important, where Wave just couldn't handle that manpower, right? And this is what's important in such a high level play, is that you can't really go one by one, or you can't even line up. All of the players peaked in the correct order, so every single person was next to each other, but still holding the same angle, so trades can happen. Basically, they had 3 kills because of that, allowed the plant, even though it was low on the clock, the plan worked. And then you can only feel for Wave because they actually had a good setup, but the utility, they didn't have enough of it to stop the second tempo push. Oh, wait, not a single one connected? Now?
Yeah, there we go. He's so low. Oh, but Karkas in with a double. He swings wide and catches them as they're greedily trying to hunt down that first kill. That's massive from Karkas, and he gets out of there with his life. Dash updraft used to get him into this position, but you'll take it. Man advantage now sits firmly in the hands of Wave Esports. They've dealt with the Hunter's Fury as well. Now, no need to worry as they go in for, well, if they need to go in for a retake, but they've actually got a bit of a stack up around this A site. Still 2 players here, 1 down below. Caught, but Karkas not ready for that. Hype was below him, Kriagon below him, excuse me. As Kata takes that spike plant. He's all alone.
He's alone, and look where Hype is. Yes, or not Hype. Where the Killjoy... Zeke, thank you.
Oh, he isolates the fight, takes down one, but not ready for Zeke, who's got the side angle. Well handled. That long rotate almost sells as a 300 so IQ play.
It's so funny because the very slow rotation from Zeke actually saves the round for them. They had to wait for both players to be connected. There was actually only two ways of playing around that round. Either Tribune had to just quickly fall back to CT and just connect with his teammate Zeke that is rotating through the spawn, or just hold that angle and wait for Zeke. And because he did held that ground and just lost that 1v1 against the Raze from Alliance, that was quite unfortunate for Kata. Because of that, he didn't anticipate being Zeke going from the spawn because he was so slow on it. Unfortunate, but funny for us.
That's one of those situations, you know, if you're the player, you're sat there thinking, how am I supposed to predict that? And the truth is, you're not. That's timing, baby.
Look at the push, the 5-man push through C-Long, double satchel in. Goes in with the ult as well.
Oh, he just got double ulted. See, he got hit by a rocket and a Hunter's Fury. Good night and sweet dreams, sweetheart. We're into it. Oh, hold on. I thought, never mind, misread because we switched so quickly. I thought that was a player rushing around the side, but it's actually Kata. It's all good. So the 5v4, you still have a lockdown as well to play with. That's situated out on long. Hype is just going to fall back, but Muri, one shot after another. Karkas comes in with the ultimate. Here goes the lockdown. It's almost a panic. Flashbang comes through. It's not going to fully blind Hype, but it gives away the info. They already know he's there. He's just planted the ult. Oh, spotted inside the smoke. That's danger now as Hype is ready for it. Looking for a little bit more as they come through. The trade is there, but Karkas, I think he updrafted above the smoke and caught Fearoth with the knives in hand. That is huge. Just about winning the round. 9-8. Waver not going anywhere.
Phew, that was actually so close. And what is even more important was the push from Mori from Double Doors. His push, getting a double kill on that was the instrumental thing that happened in this round. Even though he died, he opened the entire side because the default was guarded by 2 players. And you can't really put a number. How much worth was that? You know, without that push, the entire retake would have crumbled. It's quite unlucky though that the we didn't see a single kill from any of the race ultimates so far. Another push by 5 players, by the way, to C. This seems like a rule right now. 2 rounds in a row.
Oh, Tribune's in trouble. Taken down, but the spray through the smoke might trade him back. Hype didn't even get tickled up, actually. Never mind. Not quite landing for him. As Hype goes inside the smoke to try and deal with these guys. He plays Phantom most of the time, so easily able to spray through smoke without being deleted. Rolling Thunder goes into effect. Nico trying desperately to get into the window, but it's just a time delaying tactic. They're not going to push off the back of it. Looker still has... doesn't have a flash. Whoa, that peak has aftershock, or fault line, excuse me, an aftershock if he wants to use it, but he doesn't because he goes down straight away. Fearoth trying to get that flank underway, but he realizes now they could be sticking it. That nade buys them some time. He swings out wide, catches. Whoa, no, doesn't even catch one. Correction, Muri in there with the triple. Closing the round out nice and clean. 9-9 we go. Waves retakes on C side are on point.
I'm not sure if I like actually those really hard and brutal C pushes on long, to be honest. It feels like at some point Alliance kind of doesn't know how to call the post plant on those, even though they take the plant and then they lose the players in awkward positioning. And then Fear just, you know, is in off position, has to play post plant 1 versus 2. It's kind of hard to do that unless you have a C long position where you have your lineups for the shock darts, because then we would have been probably prepared for that. Well, this round is also pretty fast, but Alliance on the low buy tries to push double dose this time. Drawn goes first, then we're gonna probably see a follow-up with the flash at some point from Lucker. Not gonna happen. Painshaw's gonna push out the player from the window. Karkas knows what's happening. He sprays through the walls, tries to get some cheesy kills, but doesn't get anything, and he gets spammed to 2 HP through the wall. Now he has to retreat. They have no heals available. He has to play that entire... Sorry, they have a Sky. He can still heal to a full amount, but he has to rotate through the double doors, next to double doors again for that heal, and he's gonna wait for it.
The Wolf is seeing there's still players inside double, but the information is hard to play off at this point. You really don't know where these guys are coming from. And if Fearoth runs down short, that could give the fake a lot of juice to work with. If these guys are wanting to push out on the site, and you've only got Muri sitting very passive on A by himself. No information now to play with as the round ticks on, and it actually looks like maybe Alliance are thinking about moving towards the A site with the spike. Look at Looker, he comes through the window, he's rotating around behind. And really,
but I really like how Okada is just staying there, taking that control still. Here's the rotations, but he falls while trying to kill those players rotating towards A when the plant will be happening. 3 players already waiting for that plant. The plant is delayed by the paint shells. Then it's being blocked and blocked 2 times. This is the 3rd time. Then the flash doesn't affect
Fearoth in the corner. He's able to take down Karkas, but that's all. Looker in with 1. Looking for a little more. Flashbang in play. Swings the corner. Catch. Oh, doesn't hit the shot. That could have been beautiful. It could have been huge. But Hype now is left in the 1v3. He's not got a lot to really do. Delaying as much time as he could. Great stuff with the Stinger. Ult is going to come into play as well now, but it doesn't have enough time. If they're sticking that, he has to go, and he has to go now, but he won't. And the time is now gone. Done and dusted. 1v1 in the end, saves a weapon. I mean, look, it's not the worst thing in the world considering the fact that it was a considering the fact that it was an eco, they end up in a 1v1, but the lockdown, that going out of your hands, popping that down, not winning the round, you know, for no reason, it hurts.
I feel like that lockdown would have been actually very useful if he would have pushed after killing with the stinger, because he was at 0 ammo, right? This is why he didn't just choose to push. But if he would have switched to classic, pushed, just jiggle peek, tried to kill the player that is defusing, and then falling back, would have probably give enough time for the lockdown to actually get into the effect and play for time. So even if he dies later on, they probably win because of the lockdown.
I genuinely don't know that. I'm gonna actually ask him after, but I don't think he heard the diffuse start, because we didn't get the thing up on our screen which says that it was being diffused, right? That we normally do as spectators.
Yeah, but this is a bug that happens also in game. But you still hear the sound when that happens.
Okay. Even in the chaos of things, he might not have noticed more.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of shots happening. And by the way, Locker with that headshot on Haven, that is something that we have seen yesterday, time and time again. But imagine just him having a Phantom there when he flashed 2 people on CT.
Oh yeah, it's nice and easy. Now here we go. We've got a Nano Swarm down straight away. Spike going to be planted. Defender, Killjoy comes into play. Aftershock put through right onto it, but it's not quite going to do the damage. Now you're falling back. You're bailing out of there. Man advantage for Alliance, but map control for Wave. They're delayed a little bit. 1 player detained, but they know there's going to be someone covering that. They go in for the defuse. They tap it, and so Alliance need to push forward. They need to take these fights. That's where Zeke comes in from behind, but he's not able to get it done. A 1v3 in the end. It's all down to Tribune, and Kata taps him away. Alliance went quiet for a while. They're back now 10-10, but can they keep it up? Wave, they've got some reserve of cash. They've got those weapons to be pulled up. And what's also important is that when you take a look at their ultimates, whatever they're lacking here, they can possibly make up for with the Seekers and the Brimstone ult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to point out how well Alliance counterplayed the ultimate from Wave. Because the thing is, Wave would use the lockdown to push them out of sight. And the only way, because it's such a far away a destination for them, if they just don't get detained but still have to rotate back to the spike, they're probably gonna just let their opponents defuse the entire spike for the 7.5 seconds. So what they have to do, Killjoy is instrumental here, has to pop one of the nanoswarm on the spike so no one starts to defuse this straight up after the explosion of the lockdown, but then she followed up with the second nanoswarm.
Flash to backside. They don't know about the player close right, but they've heard him now. Dealt with. Fira takes him down. Zeke with 1 on the classic, but when you're on these weaker weapons, again, there's just not a whole bunch you can do. I think Karkas started this round with a Guardian. I'm not 100% sure if he kept it through all the way, but because I heard a bookie firing off. But either way, it's not worked out for them. 11-10. This was a round that Wave knew they would lose. They sacrificed it on purpose. Now they get the full buy, but if they lose this, the map and indeed that master spot could slip out of their hands for now. This is a really high pressure situation for both teams. And one thing I want to point out quickly, Karkas, he was terrible in the first half of Icebox. Really struggled to find his footing. 21 kills right now. Top frag in the server. This guy's on fire.
That is correct, my friend. Well, that round was a freebie. Oh, sorry, my endgame feed just stopped.
Oh, it's all good. I've still got mine, luckily.
Okay, I got it.
The Karkas just took a quick peek down through double doors and got himself a kill. Again, the versatility that you get with that op on a jet, a lot different to the Raze. You can go for those peaks because you can dash back through the doors, pop a smoke, and you're out of there, even at a teammate to cover. Whereas with a Raze, you wouldn't have that escapism. Yuri, he's caught, but he uses the blast pack to get out in the open and support Nico, who's in with a double already, shutting them down on that long push. Flash goes through, spots nobody, but it's a 5v2 at this point. They're comfortable playing without the info, especially because they've dropped the spike.
And now with the job that has Hype to do is basically get 2 kills on rotations. And if he manages to do that, he brings the round back and maybe Alliance takes it. But now when that fails, Fear probably has to save it. I don't see any point in losing his life and trying to just destroy the economy, because if I'm not mistaken, Alliance is really low on cash. Like, they played a half buy in the previous round, so if they're losing this one, they have to play maybe with some small shields and vandals, but they're gonna be lacking in utility then. So this is actually kind of awkward.
Not 100%. Observers, could you pull up the scoreboard if you can hear us? It would be handy just for a sec. Let me take a quick look at where the cash is at. Honesty.
That's actually okay.
Only Kata that was down lower, and he's got his ult for next round as well. So if Fearoth survives, you could drop him over. I think that's the big thing. Because he already has, I think Fearoth still has most of his utility.
Interesting.
But look at the ults, man.
The colors are really confusing though, right? It's the other way around.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, the red up the top is the green on the scoreboard.
It's like I'm getting confused by that many times.
Yeah, no, we've gotten used to it over the year. But if you're Wave, look at the ults right now. And it's another reason why Fearoth won't push is like you don't want to die to Muri, you don't want to die to Zeke, because now they get their ult charge up. Fearoth's not going to have his ult. He's 0 out of 7. You've got 2 rounds. It's not going to happen. Or probably not going to happen. But for Zeke, for Muri, a kill there, that almost guarantees their ultimates online. In fact, for Muri, it does. So it's not worth going for those, going for it in those situations at all.
Default setup right now for Alliance in the attack. They did check A short with the Boombot, and they managed to put the forces up on mid. Spike being aggressively pushed from window. That's a little bit scary if someone peeks from that smoke on mid. But no one did that, fortunately, for Alliance. Now they have another default stack, which is slowly rotating towards C. In the meantime, the drone from Sova gets informations from A-Long, where they have seen the Jet trying to get more map control. That probably triggers some rotations from Wave, and right now we see that. Brimstone is reluctant. He still stays on B. And now the execution files on C, which is unfortunately not going Alliance way.
Well, Krieg at least through Garage, able to catch one. Paranoia is perfect. Coming up behind on the site. That's a free kill. Looking for the spawn player as well. Looker deals with him, but here comes the ult. Looker dodges it in with a headshot. He's down to 1 HP. That cool guys don't look at explosions. They shoot the bad guys in front of them. That's exactly what Looker did. Carcass in a 1v3. Got it all to do. Starts it out on the Looker. Looking for a little bit more. Low HP, but swaps over to the Vandal, knowing that he's done damage. A player on long. Looking to peek just afterwards, but it's just going to buy time. Delaying it as much as they physically can. Carcass taps it, but gets shot, tagged up. Not enough, though. Down goes Kriagon. Carcass is a smoke. He taps it. This has to be a peek from Fearoth. He gets spotted, but Carcass still wins it, and the defuse easily able to come through. A 1v3. This guy was quiet on Icebox, but he's here to play on Haven, as they now guarantee themselves an overtime. 1 round away from map 3.
Holy smokes, what a round. I didn't believe in Carcass, I'll be honest with you. This was such a tough round to play, but fortunately for him, Fearoth missed the recon arrow a little bit. It was covered by the smoke, so he didn't have to like fake the defuse. Maybe he could have to get a half, but he went for the duel, and because of the lack of information, Fearoth had to white peek. That was such a crucial piece of the puzzle to just win a round for Wave.
It's all down to the fact that Carcass still had those smokes as well. If he doesn't have them, he gets spotted, time's delayed, yada yada. But instead, he ends up peeking, catching Fearoth off guard, because Fearoth's ready to fire at the site, right? He thinks he's defusing him at least halfway. His crosshair placement isn't ready, and Carcass made the perfect read in every one of those fights. In tagging up Kriagon, in then swapping weapons. Kata goes down. Great start for Nico. He goes out with the Seekers, but Kriagon deals with him. Now tucked in the corner, he's dead. Good night, sweet dreams, Kriagon. That's a fantastic ultimate from Tribune, popping it now when it's needed the most. A 2v3. Hype able to pick up 1 kill. A player on the back of the site trying to delay as the flank comes through. Oh, but he's taken down. Muri falls. This could be overtime. It's all down to one player, and that's Zeke. He's had a good game so far, but he's up against 2 players as well as a lockdown. That lockdown popped in, but he can destroy it if he can take both of these fights. Steps heard. They know exactly where he is. You're going to see the fight with Hype, and Hype wins it. 12-12. Alliance hold on, but a bit longer. And again, it's going to be overtime on Haven. Last time we saw them play Haven, it was 5 OTs. Can we make it 6 this time, Lothar?
Better not, man. It's early. But I have to say this. I really like Haven in professional play, not so much in ranked, but in professional play, the map is really balanced. And because of the way it's set up, it requires a lot of thought when it comes to rotations, good timings, also, let's say synergy between players, because they have to exchange their positioning so much. When someone rotates from double doors, the guy from C has to take his job, right, and get on a double duty and so forth. So this is a complicated map to play, and this is why we have so many overtimes on it as well. Because good teams really do exploit the way the map is built.
But one thing I'll be very thankful for is that this game is not nearly as, I will say, bad as Haven was, because Haven was just scrappy from both teams. This is more grounded. It's more in reality. I'm enjoying watching Wave play a lot as well. Yuri, he's going straight through. Let's see what he can do. There's a player up above. They haven't spotted Kriagon in the perfect position, but he's caught off. Karkas eliminates him. That flash was pivotal to keep him blind for a bit, but Kata and Hype, they come through one after another. Hype runs out of ammo down to a classic. He's being pushed on. His teammate there, but the flash perfectly blinded Tribune, stopped him from converting that kill or even taking the fight. Kata with another 13-12. Wave, they had it within their grasps. They were one round away from winning. A couple of duels went awry, and now they could be losing out on its spot in Masters this week at least.
I have to be like feeling sorry for Wave right now. They had everything going for them in that round. They had a good execute. Krigan failed with his trigger control, right? Because he didn't fire the first guy. He just waited and waited and waited. Hopefully no one will turn around and just spot him. But that happened. Then he doesn't get a kill. And it's 5v4 for Wave. Suddenly everything just turns on its head and they lose the map control, the entire side control. That was so unlucky. But they get the first blood. It's 4-4. It's an equalizer, and that means the attackers have an advantage. Krigan, though, on 30 HP, pushes the double doors. There's a smoke on CCT, so no one, they exactly know, no one is on C. It's an entire free side. There's recon arrow, reading as well. If someone just pushed through that smoke, free plant, a full retake has to happen. And this Zeke, look on the minimap, look how far away Zeke is, and they are now all bundled in the double doors area. Oh no, this is not good.
The difference between this and the last one is they still have Paranoia on now. It's still active because they spotted the backside with the Sova. That's going to be huge potentially. Kriagon takes down Zeke. The push is on its way. No, Hype. Nico, hold on. He's pulled it back. A 3K and he gets it all the way. 4 kills for Nico and overtime continues. Wave, they are not going anywhere just yet.
This has to be Steven Seagal from Nico, right? It literally has to be his nickname because he is all the time the last man standing, and that ult just gives him the win. This is the power of Sky, where sometimes she falls short because of the, let's say, lack of consistent let's say usage of the utility. She has everything, but not really. She's not best at everything. But the ultimate here doesn't have to be precise. It just gives you info in which direction he is. And that gives enough info for a pro player to be ready with the crosshair placement. And this is why she won that round.
It exactly evens the playing field, right? They know where you are. Now you know where they are. And the crosshair placement can be there. The fight can be taken. That was spectacular from Nico. I was like looking at that thinking, this is over. Wave, they've lost. Then Nico, bang, 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 one after another, just comes in hot with the Vandals in hand. Back down to 13-13. Each team has had their chance to close it. I think the mental game, they're probably both in a similar spot, but for Alliance, losing to a play like that, you know, when you lose to a round where a duo comes in, they peek things together, they play off utility and they win, okay, it kind of sucks, but what can you do? When you lose it to a guy walking out and just popping heads, that sucks, man. And right now, Nico, he's that guy. He's the one that's infuriating them. A solo hold towards the C site for Hype. He was holding Garage and C. Now he's alone. As he moves over to cover long and cover the Garage walkout, it's B that they want to take. And where are they going to go from here? Out into the open. Looker dropped after just 1 kill. Kriagon, it took him a while, but he's in with 2. Suspects the flank, but gets caught off as Fury goes through the smoke. A recon dart into the back site. 1 enemy remaining. It's Zeke, though. He wants to get the spike. He picks it up, runs away. He's out of there. Running for the C site. It's open, and he can get the plant, but has to hold off against both of these players.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but he has the upper hand of having actually the turret. This is basically a half of a play for him. The lockdown comes down, buys the very valuable time. This is actually the 13 seconds that allow him to play a little bit more time. And because of the turret, he has the timings. But now they know where he is, but they still cannot push. He can reposition and use his Xenos Swarm on the spike, if I'm not mistaken. Recon arrow goes in, reads out the position, but he misses.
Oh, Fearoth catches Zeke just in time. When he looks at the turret, I'm thinking he's dead for sure. Yeah. That peek was perfectly timed. As soon as the turret activates, you know one player at least is going to be baited into looking at it. but an unfortunate one now.
This is why it's so important to have a good crossfire with your turret when you play Killjoy, and this was so well played. He just missed his shot on the second guy. That's about it. But what the turret gives him is the information where and when he has to peek. And because of the distraction, this is kind of like a dash from Jet, right? It just distracts you. Something suddenly starts shooting from your other side, and you need to kind of react to it. Or unless you have a strong will, you would know it's a turret and you will not, and you will still hold the angle. But this allows the Killjoy player to actually get at least one kill from that. And unfortunate for him that there was a second player right next for the retake to just take over.
Well, one round.
Push, what? Smoke! What? This guy has the biggest balls I've ever seen.
I mean, that's a play that I don't know how I feel about that one, I'll be honest. The shift walk through the smoke, but hell, Kriegon gets the kill for it. You are smashing your desk if you're Tribune. Like, he's going to IKEA straight after this game, buying a new one, because it's gone. It's done. 5 versus 4. It's Korea gone. Well, Korea is gone. He got taken down by the double doors push by Carcass. It spots there's still players outside of B and A, or C, excuse me, so they don't full rotate just yet. Oh, but look at this from Zeke. He's in the corner. He's not spotted. Another kill goes his way. Now the advantage is there for Wave. The crossfire. Nico swings at just the right time. Spike tries to be planted, but Looker, he only seals his own fate. And again, it's Nico to confirm another OT. Lothar, are we gonna hit 5? Is this the day?
I don't know, man. This feels like I live in a simulation. Every time we see Alliance playing on Haven, it goes overtime, but ridiculous long overtime. But honestly, I thought when Kriegan opened that B, he's gonna play safe then. He's gonna just just go back, reposition, get a little bit of map control, but not push aggressively anymore. But then he got caught up by Carcass, and I feel like he went too overconfident after that push, and that might have cost him actually the round when he opened it. He kind of opened the situation, but then he kind of failed to hold to the power that he got with that.
You can see the risk reward. If he gets that kill, it's done. Like, they're going to rotate to C. They're going to think that's a hit there because they lose information. They just know there's a player outside of it. A site's open, you plant. But if you lose that fight, you probably lose the round. Fear out the timing. Does he expect the player to be this close? He's cautious of it. But how confident is he that they could be here? Flash goes around the corner. There's one. Tries to spray transfer and can't get it done. Down he goes. Now the defense on A. 2 players still. They know that there's 2 now because there's flashes. There's nades. Kata in with 1. He needs more, but he can't get it done. Zeke opens it up now. Man advantage. They push onto site. They'll get the spike planted. Again, it's going to be Hype and Kriegon to retake. They've been packing a punch so far, but Wave are holding on. Paranoia, it does well. It blinds up a couple of players, but caught in the crossfire. Hype is taken down, and Korea soon to follow. 15-14. Wave back up with map point. Looking to bring it to map 3 if they can find this defensive round here. And the defense has been where they've clocked up most of their rounds so far.
That was such a tough retake to do for Alliance.
No tease.
Oh, man, I really feel for it because that was such a good setup. The paranoia coming in doesn't really stop the player from Graffiti to still see someone peeking from CT, and while the guy from Under Heaven, he's not affected by that. So he has the crossfire. When he starts shooting, the other guy starts shooting, even if he's blinded. So it's such a tough retake to do, especially with both players are going just from CT, and there's such a brutal crossfire. So it was a Herculean task to behold. But now, a 4-man push through double doors. Firod is waiting on Silong. He used that drone. A massive push went by. They know about the drop from the double doors on window. There's gonna be one guy trying to flank them. They get the push on side. They get the spike plant. And now they all fall back too long. Where Firod is now covering the backside. They know someone is pushing. Oh, this is such an odd situation. Everyone is just boxed up in that long, but they get the kill on Zeke.
Yeah, because it's so open. They're confident in playing a firing squad against it. Muri's double thinking, double guessing himself whether he should actually go for this on the flank play. He delays it long enough that they're now focused on site, but they're deleting every player there. Muri needs to come behind, but he gets deleted as well. And it's all down to 2, trying to get that spike diffused, trying to tap it, but they don't have anything to work with here. I think smokes are fully gone as well, and the firing squad emerges, takes them down. The death sentence for Wave, but not the death sentence in this series yet. They are back to another overtime. Another goal just about evades their grasp. They've each had 2 chances to close this out and failed at both hurdles. We reach overtime number 4. We're looking to go all the way. Actually, it was 4 OTs yesterday, right? I think 4. I think it was 17-15.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah,
17,
so this is, again, it seems like Alliance think they're playing Counter-Strike. They want to play the full 30 rounds, then do some. But for Wave and for Alliance, it's a stamina test at this point. This has been a long series with so much pressure applied, more than these players have felt in Valorant before.
Kata with open kill, but there's Kregan dying while with Paranoia in his hand. This is not looking good for us, but Locker with the double kill, insane!
He's nuts. He's absolutely nuts. Looker grabs the double, starts to rotate over towards Garage, wants to move with the drone in synchronicity. In sync. Would have been the easier way to say that.
With the band, right? Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. So, oh no. Okay, spike in hand, you go to plant it, but you stop because you're tagged by the drone. You're scared of somebody coming around. You're scared of maybe some utility coming through the flank from Hype. This is it. Done and dusted. Surely in this round, looking for a little bit more here. Muri caught up close. They knew that he was here. He wants to swing. He's spotted out. He's tagged. The time is still plenty, but he needs to win against 3 players swinging at him from every angle, and it's just not going to happen. 16-15. Overtime number 4. And Alliance are 1 round away from taking it.
You can see there was something that I was mentioning before. Look at Alliance scoreboard. They are consistent. All of the players perform. 19 to 26 frags, an insane amount of number of assists as well. And then look at Wave. 3 players above 20 and 2 guys struggling. 2 guys being quiet. This is something that I kind of pointed out. Alliance is very consistent across the board, while Wave kind of tries to put a lot of pressure onto their carries.
We've seen Alliance with the mid-aggression on defensive side in just the previous round, this time almost countering their own play by sending 4 players through to try and catch off anybody pushing down from Wave. They don't spot them, so they move in towards the garage and look for the backside of C. Paranoia still online, ready to go through in just a moment, spotting at the player at the back. They don't even need it, never mind. Spike plan can now come into effect, man advantage, but almost every round Wave have won on the defense has been on retakes, and it's starting out well, with Carcass catching Hype trying to retreat. That's not just a kill, that's utility taken out of the equation. But speaking of which, Kregan catches a flanker, Zeke goes down, 2-man advantage. They need to avoid playing overly aggressive, or maybe not, because Firoth goes out, eliminates Carcass. Nico, he got a 4K to get us to overtime. He needs 1 more. Time is ticking. The spike is set to explode any moment now, and Kregan closes it. Alliance will be the first team in EU